Manen Boji Bangaket, Podago. Nudi poka tuna bagach, nudi poka tuna bagach, nudi poka tuna bagach, nudi poka tuna bagach. Chimarie, 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 oh, chimarie, chimarie, oh, nudi poka tuna bagach, nudi poka tuna bagach, nudi poka tuna bagach, nudi poka tuna bagach. Chimarie, chimarie, oh, chimarie, 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 oh, chimarie, chimarie, nudi poka tuna bagach, nudi poka tuna bagach, nudi poka tuna bagach, nudi poka tuna bagach. Chimarie, chimarie, oh, chimarie, 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 oh, chimarie, chimarie, oh, chuak marachu badabach, tawe maletram jot. Chimarie, 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 podago, chimare na waraji dom chiko. Mananga, kongo maranywa, nebede achange. Podago, chimare na waraji dom chiko. Mananga, kongo maranywa, nebede achange. Nudi poka tuna bagach, nudi poka tuna bagach, nudi poka tuna bagach, nudi poka tuna bagach. Chimarie, chimarie, oh, chimarie, 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 oh, chimarie, chimarie, nudi poka tuna bagach, nudi poka tuna bagach, nudi poka tuna bagach, nudi poka tuna bagach. Chimarie, chimarie, oh, chimarie, 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 oh, chimarie, chimarie, nudi poka tuna bagach, nudi poka tuna bagach, nudi poka tuna bagach, nudi poka tuna bagach. Chimarie, chimarie, oh, chimarie, 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 oh, chimarie, chimarie. Oh, beto, winyu, winyu. Oh, beto, winyu, winyu. Oh, beto, winyu, winyu. Oh, beto, winyu, winyu. Chede konga machala lam doda, konga mereo tawe ita today. Chimarie, chimarie, chimarie. Podaga, chimare da waraji tonga chiko. Mananga, konga maranywa, nebede achange. Podaga, chimare na waraji tonga chiko. Mananga, konga maranywa, nebede achange. Nudi poka tuna bagach, nudi poka tuna bagach, nudi poka tuna bagach, nudi poka tuna bagach. Chimarie, chimarie, oh, chimarie, 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 oh, chimarie, chimarie, nudi poka tuna bagach, nudi poka tuna bagach, nudi poka tuna bagach, nudi poka tuna bagach. Chimarie, chimarie, oh, chimarie, 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 oh, chimarie, chimarie, nudi poka tuna bagach, nudi poka tuna bagach, nudi poka tuna bagach, nudi poka tuna bagach. Dararanga, sound give no party. SGP.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes, I'm asking the
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 viewers.
audience, the viewers. Great. Yeah, thank you very much, Obang and Khalid, for coming to discuss today the situation in Ethiopia, particularly to have a perspective of the Ethiopian indigenous people and marginalized people. So what triggered this today is the situation in Benishangul. We can also discuss the rest of Ethiopia, particularly the Ethiopian peripheries, Gambela, Benishangul, Lower Omo, and also other part of the southern Ethiopia. As we all know, Ethiopia is a country of over 80 ethnic groups, and it is known to be one of the country that survived a colonial legacy, a colonial experience. It has actually been ruled by different means of systems like the monarch, the unitary government, and now the federal government. But in the past few years, Ethiopia has experiences a considerable challenges ranging from human rights violations, displacement, um, particularly during the TPLF regime, whereby human rights has become a very common thing to many ethnic groups in the country. But again, new challenges are now emerging, particularly in the Ethiopian peripheries and also in other parts of the country. So we have seen on the media of recent the carnage and also the barbaric killing of the Benishangul people of the Benishangul, the Gumuz particularly. The Gumuz have been exposed in the recent uh, years or in the recent months. First, last September, I think they had a very serious. Uh, they were murdered due to the fact that there was an ambush on a car carrying four officials. And then that followed also another displacement. So today, I'm joined by two gentlemen. Soon they are going to introduce themselves to you. Then we can, so we can, and then we can try to go through what is going on and what is happening in Ethiopia. First and foremost, I want to, my audience to know the gentleman I want to introduce to you, or they want to introduce themselves. Let me start with Khalid. Can you please introduce yourself to the audience, who you are, what you do, and how you see the situation in Benishangul? Can you hear me?
Can you hear me now? Okay, my name is Khalid Nasser, and I'm Khalid Nasser, and I'm a human rights activist from Benishangul. I live in Australia. We came fleeing the country after the yeah, yeah and and what I would like to say regarding the situation in Ethiopia today is as follows. Ethiopia is a colonized. Ethiopia is a colonizer country. It is the same as any African country that has been colonized by the Westerns. And if we come and look at the Benishangul and the Gambela and the Ogaden and all these areas are part of became part of Ethiopia after the scramble for Africa. And that is a fact that every Ethiopian needs to understand, and the entire world. And that's why Ethiopians, the Abyssinians, they don't care about the people of Benishangul or Gambela or Ogaden or anywhere. The only thing that they look for is resources and the land. That's why they try to kill people, to push them by making atrocities and violating the human rights by adopting the ethnic cleansing strategy to force these people to leave the land and in order for the Abyssinians to take over. So that is the situation in Ethiopia. That's why you see this thing happen before in Gambela. It has happening in Benishangul for so long time, and now it is the same things that happened a long time ago. Now it is repeatedly happening until in now in the 21st century with this civilized world, and we haven't seen any government media or any government official talking about the crime that is taking place in Benishangul today. And even the opposition medias, including the opposition medias, including the opposition medias, they don't talk about this. So it is a crime against humanity, and I think all Ethiopians and all international community need to stand firmly against the crime that is taking place now.
Thank you, Khalid. I'm now going to go to Obang. Obang, can you also? I think Obang has got disconnected. I can't see him anymore in the lobby. It's only me and you now. Obang is not there. Anyway, I think let's move on, Khalid. Okay, let me just try to catch up with the music that we played earlier on. That was a very remarkable song talking about the history of Ethiopia.
Okay.
But compared to what is happening right now in the Benishangul and what happened in Tepi, what is happening also in Gambela, as you said clearly that the government and also the Ethiopian media seems to not to be interested in reporting this carnage and human rights violations clearly. What do you really think could be the reason why? Are these signs of trouble ahead coming from the history of Ethiopia or the whole history of Ethiopia? I mean, let me try to just say that why now? Why are these all displacement, violent acts, and so forth? Why are these happening now in Ethiopia?
Well, you know, the Ethiopia. Yeah, well, you know, what I would like to say regarding this issue is as follows. You know, the Amhara as a population, they are increasing every day, and this is the second population in Ethiopia after Oromo. And these people, they have been displaced. They have been displaced from certain areas in Ethiopia, and coming as they are displaced from other parts, and they are all of them. They came back to Amhara land. What Amara is trying to do now is to capture, to annex some land from Benishangul, and the resources in Benishangul are massive. So that's why they are trying to take over that land in order to take the land and to populate the Amara in that lands. And the thing that the weak government in Benishangul is also is not doing anything to protect its own citizen as it happened in Amhara, because Amhara now they recruited over 50,000 youngers in Liu Hail, and they are ready now to take over any, as Amhara says, every time they are claiming that they are going to defend all Amara wherever they are. And if this thing happened now today in Benishangul, it is going to happen in each part of Ethiopia, especially in Gambela, Southern Nation, and Ogaden, and I think the other ethnics needs to stand up together to stop these atrocities that is taking place in Benishangul, because if they don't, the second invasion and the second atrocities is going to happen in either in Gambela or either in Ogaden, either in Afar or in Southern Nations. And Oromo, they can't do anything to Oromos because Oromo are able to protect themselves, and they are well equipped by everything. And they tried with Tigray, and they couldn't. So that's why they're targeting Benishangul. Benishangul is not ready at the moment, and they're taking advantage of the weak president of the Benishangul region.
Thank you, Ubang. Welcome back. Ubang, can you hear me?
I can hear you, but I'm frozen, I believe.
Yes, earlier on, I think you were frozen, but now you're back to life.
Yeah, but do you see me?
I can see you, but I think your camera you need to adjust it.
Yeah, but what happened? It just frozen.
Right.
Okay, keep going so that I can restart the phone itself.
Yeah, I can see you, but unfortunately, your camera seems to be
frozen.
Is it frozen?
Yeah, it is frozen.
Oh, okay. I think maybe you need to restart. While
okay, I'll restart my my cell phone. Keep talking. I'll come back in as soon as I'm able to.
That is fine. That is great.
All right. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Khalid, let me come back to you again. My understanding is that the Gumuz, who are now being targeted, are part and parcels of the Amara regional estate.
Pardon?
Do you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, yes.
What I'm trying to catch up with the history of Ethiopia, particularly the current arrangement. These Gumuz people that are being targeted by the Amara nationalists are in Amara region. Why do you think these ethnic groups that belong to Benishangul, to Gumuz, but they are in the Amara region? Amara nationalists in the Amara region. Why do you think this ethnic group that belong to Benishangul, to Gumuz, but they are in the Amara nationalists?
Again, can you repeat the question, please?
Why do you think now? There is echo. I don't know why. I don't know. Is that Gumuz, but they are.
Can you repeat the question again? Sorry.
You see, Khalid, what I'm trying to understand, and for for the audience, for that matter,
yes,
is the fact that the people, the Gumuz people who are targeted by the Amara nationalists, are not people of Benishangul, although they are part and parcels of the Gumuz bigger society. Why do you think that the Amara nationalists targeted them, and also what caused that what triggered that?
Okay, well, you know, this incident, and whether the today's incident or before incident, all these things is happening because the Amara are not most people in this area. even the areas that the Amara now occupy, you know, which they are where they are living now. A lot of these highland areas belong to the Gumuz people. The Gumuz people have been defeated, and they came from they were defeated to the lowland, and all this area belongs to the Gumuz, and they still Amara are doing the same things. And the fight started with the two people. They quarreled, and that's it. And and a policeman came who is an Amara. He killed that person. He killed the Gumuz guy with no reason. And instead of arresting them both and trying to find who was the person who did the mistake or did any wrong to be accused, and instead of that, the policeman shot the Gumuz guy, and he left the Amara guy, and then that's where the problem started. And you know the problem of Gumuz in each village, because already the Gumuz has been exterminated since 1606, the time that the genocide started in this area, and that's why you see all the Gumuz areas. It is not populated place, because all these Gumuz were killed by the Amara people. And that's why when you go to the Gumuz area now, you find in a village 2 people living in a village. And when that incident happened, you know the Amhara, they live in a group. And they went and they said that we were attacked by this Gumuz guy, and 2 Gumuz guys quarreled, and he was killed. And then all the Amaras as a group, they went from the village and all bushes, everywhere in the bush. They find 2 rooms, 2 huts, 2 cottages. They go to there and they kill the children. They go to the other village where they find 2 people or 3 people. They kill them. So because the Gumuz people, they don't live in groups like Amara and all these things. That's why they took advantage of this, and they committed the atrocities. From the Gumuz people, because Gumuz are not living in a group like the Amaras. Amara came by group, by masses, and there were like they find 1 room, 1 house in a village, or 2 houses. They kill all the families, and they go. And now there are many villages now. Many villages, the entire families, the entire villages were wiped out. And even now, yesterday, they found a mass grave in area. I was called, and that they found a mass grave, and that mass grave is going. Even they were asking what we should do. It should be reported to the international human rights. You know, they need to call Addis Ababa. They need to call to African Commission. They need to report this to the human rights. And the Palestinians know that doesn't belong to them. And as one of Oromo ladies say, if these people, they are Sudanese originally. If you want to commit that genocide and to kill them, you better let them go. Let them go to their own people. And all the books that is written, it shows that even the highland where the Amhara live now, it belongs to the Gumuz people, because they are the first inhabitants of Africa. So, and that's why if you just can give me a second to tell this, and this is a book that is many rights which has been written by the Western people who were there a long time ago, and that is the Gumuz. The Gumuz tribe is the first inhabitant of the African continent. Even the highlands belong to the Gumuz people. And he also said a long time ago, and he wrote about this also, and he mentions that this land belongs to the Gumuz. And Windy, she says that regarding the atrocities which has been committed a long time ago, and she says that the more evidence of other historians that pushed down to the present place by the imperial power of Ethiopia, which means all these highlands belong to the Gumuz. And the Ethiopian, for the Abyssinians, who are people say that hyenas attack. You know, these people, they are still the Highlanders eat raw meat. You know, and now they prove to the world that they are really hyenas. You know, and that's why the way that they attacked the Gumuz it hasn't been witnessed before, you know, and the land that they wanted to take, they will not be able to take it, because we are going to stand against that, and we will do all our best with the international communities to stop what they are planning for in that land. And
thank you. Again, let me come back to now that we are live, and I believe this video at some point will be accessed by human rights organizations, by individuals who are doing research on this particular atrocities that take place in Benishangul. Could you please give us some statistics, if at all, if they are available? Because we hear that at least 250 Gumuz people were killed, and we do not know how many were killed from the other side. And we are told that the Amara nationalists were well prepared and were well armed. So 25 vehicles were loaded with Amara nationalists to come and attack. How many villages, how many people died, how many people wounded, how many people are in the hospital? I learned that 13 people died in the hospital. How many people do remain now, and what is the scale of humanitarian catastrophe?
well, really, the sad part of all these atrocities is that government media is trying or are covering it by any means. The security forces, the Ethiopian security forces, are covering this from the international media. But what we know from our sources is that, you know, there are, as I told you, that there are mass graves yesterday that were found. They don't know the numbers yet. Even they don't know how to count them, because they don't have the experience to do that. And there are many villages that were wiped out. And the report that we found, we heard that, or we received, is that, you know, there are over 400 people. Over 400 people were killed. Well, you know, and the children were mutilated. And you can see in the photos on the Facebook how the children were killed, and the women how they were killed. And regarding those who are in the, I don't know, in the hospital, there are many of them. Even they don't go to the hospital, because even if they go to the hospitals are controlled or are all Abyssinians. They're gonna kill them. So most of these people are dying in the bush, most of them, and those who were lucky maybe to go to any clinic or something like that. Until now, we don't have that number. But one thing that we know is that these areas are wiped out, and all people, all villages are killed, and no one remains. And the international, one factor that the international community needs to know that is, you know, these atrocities, as I said, it didn't begin today. It began a long time ago. And there are many books that written regarding this. You know, in 1882, they wiped out many villages. Over 700 people were killed by one day. And today, when we see that when Menelik invaded all these areas, he committed atrocities, and they went by masses, and they killed all people. And it is the same policy, because they are proud of Menelik. They consider him as their hero. And that is why they follow his footsteps. And they don't care how many people are going to get killed. And these people, they don't have any mercy. And Alan Bruce, in 1770, when he went to Abyssinia, he said one thing: Abyssinians are created to hate and to be hated. And that is the reality. These people, they know nothing except killing, committing atrocities. And now, I'm very surprised to hear some Abyssinians saying that kill this Shankilla and the barrier, because they don't have anything to, or they have no any benefits, or there's no any benefit behind them. As if Abyssinians had done anything for the world. The Abyssinians, since they were created until now, what we know is a very people who are relying on aid, people who are starving every day, people with not even with barefoot, people who don't know how to do anything. Even they don't take shower. They come and they claim that they are civilized. What's civilized? You went to America. It doesn't mean that you went to learn something how to take shower or to brush your teeth in America. You want to come and show me that you are civilized. What is Abyssinia had done to the world? Nothing. You committed atrocities, and that's the only thing that you brought to Africa. And Africa never been the Abyssinians' land. You know, the Abyssinian came from the Arab Peninsula. They were maybe the last class of citizens in that area, and they managed to come and cross to Abyssinia, where they took the land from the Gumuz and from the indigenous of that land. And they think that still they will be able to take that land. But what I would like to confirm to the Abyssinians and to the international community, that we will be there and we will stand with our people and beside our people, with those free lovers and those who love people to be free and to live in peace. We will stand all together with them to stop all the atrocities and the plans to wipe and exterminate the Gumuz people and the Benishangul people from that part of Benishangul.
Thank you, Khalid. That reminds me, Bang is back. Let me bring him to life.
Hello, gentlemen.
Bang,
sorry.
You're back. Okay, that is fine. Okay, Khalid, that reminds me of what happened in 2003 in Gambela, where the Anuaks were murdered and were massacred. And just in less than 3 days or in less than a week, at least a conservative figure, 400 Anuaks were killed. This also happened in the Majang in 2014. I am aware also that this happened also in Sidama in 2002. Currently, I would have loved actually if someone from that area was with us today live to talk about what is happening in Tepi area. This is very common, and in fact the frequency is now very high. My question goes to Obang as one of the few Anuak who have stood very firm with regard to human rights violations. I learned that you are part and parcels of the makings of Anuak Justice Council, an organization that in 2003 sent a number of Anuak to go to receive refugees in Kachala. Now we are seeing what is happening in a similar trend, what is happening in Benishangul Gumuz, where the Gumuz are targeted, and yet the Ethiopian government seems not to really say a word. Even to that extent, the Ethiopian media is not interested. I think that is the word I can use, because there is nothing that they have come. Last, during the TPLF, you would imagine that maybe there is fear, but not now. I think there is a space, some sort of freedom to operate. Why would you really think that this trend is happening? It happened in Gambela, it happened in Benishangul, it happens in Sidama, it happens in Shaka, it happened in Lower Omo, it happened in Bajang. So why would you really think that the Abyssinians, as my fellow brother put it, the Ethiopian government seems to be targeting these Ethiopian peripheries, the indigenous territories, particularly these areas that are very fertile agriculturally?
Okay, can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, I'm frozen again. I'm sorry, but I will talk anyway. You don't have to see me.
Yeah, we can. I can see you frozen. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why. I have some problems with not my phone, but network. But I can tell you that some other time, though. So,
Okay, that is fine.
um, I have a different takes on what is happening in Africa usually. Okay, um, I have a general theory and understanding of what is happening in Africa, and then I'm gonna narrow it down to Ethiopia.
Hello?
Hello.
Yes. Khalid.
Yes?
Yeah, Obang is talking, so.
So I can't hear him.
Oh, you
Oh,
can't hear him.
Yes.
Oh, that is a problem because it's frozen. That is a problem.
Mm.
So, Obang, what do we do? Can we give you some few minutes or seconds to log back
Oh,
again?
this is a problem because it's frozen. That is a problem. Mm.
So, Obang, what do we do? Can we give you some few minutes or seconds to log back again?
Oh,
Well, I think it's disconnected now fully, completely.
yes. Okay. Well, I think I
Right.
can.
Oh, yeah, please. That is also a similar thing. If you could also chip in.
Yeah, yeah. You know if you go back to the history, and there is one thing that if you just you know the Abyssinians. There is one thing that is really the that I would like to mention in regards to the atrocities that they committed. For example, just in Benishangul for your record, and and uh, which shows also that the Gumuz people are the real inhabitants of this area. You know, this is a book. This is written by people whom they believe they believe in, like Windy Gamis and all this. They say they were the oldest inhabitants of Ethiopia. The Gumuz were oppressed by others, tribes or people who came to the land much later than them. The 19th century expansion of the Abyssinians has affected the Gumuz tribe more than any other smaller tribe. After evicting them from the highland of Ethiopia, look, after evicting them from the highland, where the Amhara now claim that belong to them, the Lectana belong to the Gumuz. And there are many evidence that we can bring some evidence that can prove all those areas belong to the Gumuz people. And they say that from the highland of Ethiopia, they did not stop exploiting them, but followed them to the lowland as well and forced them into enslavement by taking their land. This is said by Wendy. And and also, you know, there is one thing that these people, even the way that they were protected, you won't believe. And he considers that the reason for this lack of population because Gumuz area, as I said, it's not populated. In the plain between Guba, Keren, and the Blue Nile and the Dabus was that it was border territory recently devastated by war. It was at the very to that place in 1882. That's where the Wambara area, which is where the atrocities taking place now, all these areas, you know, the people were wiped out in that area. And this genocide is continually going on since then until now. Imagine from 1606 until now, this thing is happening now and so on. And they are targeting, if you see that, when Menelik invaded all these areas, he went to the south, he went to the Omo, he went. They came to Gambela, they came to all these areas. How did he go? He used to go by Amhara. Amhara go by masses, by millions, and they go and they take over. They destroy that kingdom or that chief. Once they destroy him, they take over the land. They take over everything. That's what happened in Southern Nation. That's what happened in Omo. That has happened in Gambela, it happened in Benishangul, it happened in Oromia, it happened in all these places. And now Oromo are getting, they are stronger now, and now they're getting rid of them from their areas. And in area like Benishangul and Omo and all these things, they think these people are the thing, they are minorities. So we are able to defeat them. We are able to exterminate them in order to take their land and to bring all the Amara populace these areas. And it is very sad when you hear some Amara say that we have over 25 or 15 million over Ethiopia. But did you ask yourself, you Abyssinian, how these people got there? Why there is no other ethnic groups in Amara land? Why there's no Gambelan people in Amara land? Why there's no someone from Omo in Amara land? Why there's no one from Ogaden in Amara land? Why there's no Benishangul in Amara land? Why there are Amaras in all these areas? Because it is a plan, a strategy to take over the land of others. And now the time has come for us, especially those who are called, although I don't believe and I don't like to be called minority, because when you are called minority, as if you are almost, just degraded and you are just losing the confidence to win. That's why I don't like to be called that. But what I mean, those people, those groups who are less than the Amhara and the others, need to stand together and to reveal and to talk to the African government and the European government and all international NGOs and the human rights activists, NGOs as well, the real policy of the Abyssinians in these areas. We are not going to allow Abyssinians to take over the land that doesn't belong to them. And the world needs to understand that the genocide that happened in Rwanda, and it happened in Balkan, in Albania, what happened in Yugoslavia, if the world doesn't interfere now to stop these atrocities, I think the world is going to witness more and more and more genocide in this part of the world. And that's why I think the African community, the African organization, the African unity need to stand up for this. And the other thing also, they say that 2020 will be free of, Africa will be free of guns. And I don't know how did they think about that. The Ethiopian, and also the other thing is, the Ethiopian, who is Ethiopian Prime Minister, who didn't, until now, we didn't hear him saying anything about this atrocity, And it is very sad that he come out and speak about reconciliation when people are killed in Benishangul and their land are taken and atrocities are committed all over the country. I think we need to stand, all of us, especially whom are called minorities, and also what I would like to add in regards to the Abyssinians policy, when this atrocities has revealed the real face of the Abyssinians. Whenever they come to the media, they say, "Oh, Ethiopian unity." They talk about Ethiopian unity. Ethiopian unity. What do you mean about Ethiopian unity? Is that Ethiopian unity to get rid of Benishangul and all other ethnics and to take over the land? Is that the Ethiopian unity that you want? Or Ethiopian unity with all ethnic groups, where a very diversified nation, where everybody can see himself? What do you, is that the unity that you want? You want your culture, the Abyssinian culture, language, and everything to be seen to the world. But they don't want anyone else to exist there as a human being. And they want to say that they are calling for unity. There is nothing called. They never believed in unity. And when they invaded all these nations, they didn't believe in unity. The only thing that they believed in is domination and to control others. That's the only thing that they believed in. And the thing that people are going to keep quiet, their atrocities to take place. And the TPLF, when Tigray ruled, and they use the media to talk about Tigray, and now they are talking about Oromos. The Oromo cannot rule us. The TPLF cannot rule us. And okay, if you don't allow someone other people to rule you, why do you and how do you allow yourself to rule others? You know? Otherwise, people have to make consensus on how to lead and how to govern. It is not just me, a self-centered ego. That doesn't work. That doesn't work, and it's not going to bring any peace into this country. And everyone, when he asks for independence or secession, is because he didn't find himself in that country, and his right that means he's oppressed. His people are oppressed. He's not respected. He doesn't see himself in the big picture of that country. That's why people ask for independence. That's why people wanted to separate and have their own country. So the Abyssinians need to understand now that their real face has been revealed to the world, and there's no way for them now from now on to talk about unity, because unity is not something that we impose. So unity is something that comes from people to the people. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Khalid. That is a very interesting angle. Yes, I think the Ethiopian indigenous people, which I think you seems to be not very happy with the minority for a very particular region, or particular reason, which I think there is much deep issues that we need to really address, particularly when it comes to the indigenous people lack of a common voice, a common understanding. Now, as we said, or as you said it clearly, number of people have been evicted, have been killed, have been, raped, and yet the Ethiopian state is not offering any solution to these ethnic groups that are being victimized from time to time. The media seems to be very silent. The Ethiopian state, even if is the core African founding members and also the headquarters of the AU is in Addis Ababa, seems to be debating from the principles of the African Union, trying to, protect the Ethiopian citizens in the way that they want. And I see the challenge ahead for this group of people in the Ethiopian peripheries, where the lands are being taken away from them. Human rights violations are committed every year from time to time without any sense of urgency or any sense of. I do remember in 2003, even if the conservative figures that of the annual that were killed were at least 400 or even 500, for that matter, nothing. The number of people were reduced to about 59 or 69 people, according to the Ethiopian, and simply because there was a pressure from the international community, and the lobby was done at the international level. But now, in the case of Benishangul Gumuz, nothing so far in the media, whether international media, whether it is the Ethiopian media, even the government itself seems to be very silent. And this is a similar trend that happened in September when the Oromo nationalists took the law into their hands and killed the Gumuz people. As a result, the violent conflict, of course, did not discriminate. So many people from Oromo, so many people from Amara, and so many people from Gumuz were displaced from their normal livelihood. Now, what do you think can be done in this circumstance? Because this is not something we will be very happy to continue happening in Benishangul, in Gambela, in Tepi, in Majang, in any other part of Ethiopia in particular. What can we do as people who are having no voice in Ethiopian politics, in the Ethiopian society?
Well, you came to the main point. And I think this is the time has come. The time didn't come because the atrocity happened in Gumuz. We have been talking about this for a long time now. But now it is time for us to apply what we have been talking about. And we need to bring it to action, into action. And what is that? Is forming alliance from all these indigenous people in Ethiopia, whether it's in Omo or in southern nations, Shakicho or whatever they are, who are those indigenous in the south, and here and the Gambela, and we see all those who wanted to join from the indigenous people to form alliance that can stand up and for the right of these people. And if we don't do that, I think we are going to be wiped out, especially with what these Abyssinians, Highlanders are having, because they are well equipped by guns. And yes, our areas are the most resourceful areas, but unfortunately, we haven't been given opportunities to invest and to use our resources for the benefit of our people. And that's why the government of that is controlled by the Highlander and by those supporters of the Highlanders policy are appointing some puppets in Gambela and in Benishangul and in all those areas who are for the indigenous government. They appoint, some weak people who are not able even to speak their mind, who are not able even to defend or to protect themselves, not leave alone the people, to take advantage, and they appointed them in order to make such atrocities, and no one will talk to them. And like in Benishangul, cannot go and talk to the prime minister or cannot confront the Amara to stop these atrocities that is taking place in the region. And I think for us as the indigenous people, we need really to organize ourselves and form alliance that can fight for our people, and instead of waiting for the government, because the government is not going to do anything for our people. And now you can find, that is, you can find that from what is happening now. The government doesn't show or doesn't even condemn the atrocities that is taking place today, because there's no pressure from anywhere. But at least if we organize ourselves and we form alliance, I think we will be able to put pressure on the government and in the international community to act quickly whenever there is atrocities in our areas, in each of the indigenous areas.
Well, I think that is an interesting angle, particularly this concept of indigenous. The Ethiopian constitution, for that matter, seems to completely divorce itself from the terminology indigenous people. And this probably is something of deliberate, to claim that Ethiopian state does not have indigenous people. By definition, indigenous people are those people who have their own identity, they are close to the land, close to the environment, and so forth. That is the fundamental, basic definition of. There is that argument that the Ethiopian puts forward. At the international level, there is a very strong movement of indigenous groups at the international level. And yet, during the ratification of the United Nations Declaration on Indigenous Population or Indigenous People, Ethiopia did not participate. Deliberately, it decided to walk away from that meeting. So it was absent during that meeting. Do you think that that could be the starting point to make sure that we as indigenous people, as we recognize ourselves according to the international law, we need to really just, include that provision within the constitution, if at all that constitution is going to be revised. Is that something sensible?
Yep, I agree with you 100%. That is very sensible, and they have to, because one thing, that's why Abyssinians don't want to recognize any indigenous of Ethiopia, is Ethiopia, because they are migrants. That land doesn't belong to them, and they don't want to recognize someone to claim that land belongs to them. And if you come to the Abyssinians, you know, even the word Ethiopia, it is the name that they took from Sudan. That name is the area that is known historically as the Ethiopia, is the current country which is called Sudan. And these people, because they don't have any civilization to be proud of, other than the atrocities that they commit all over the history. That's why they always try to take someone's identity, someone's history, to take it, to say that it's theirs. Or if they manage to deny you your history, that's what they do. That's why if you come to the Ethiopian history now today, they come under the case of the history of Abyssinians, of Menelik as the hero. Menelik is a criminal. He's a killer who committed genocide everywhere, each part of Ethiopia, against the indigenous people. How can he be a hero for us? If he is a hero for Amara, he's not going to be my hero. He is a criminal. He is a killer. He is a vampire who committed a crime against humanity a long time ago. And his kids now, his followers, or his tribe now, are following the same footsteps that he started. And that's why they don't care now. What they care about is, as I said, it is the land. That's why, as we are the indigenous of this country, we need to fight and to stand together to put that in the constitution. And not only that, as indigenous people, we have to have a representation in each part of the government level, even without being, because this is our land, this is our country, and they are newcomers, and now they have to know that the people need to stand together. That's what I stand for, and we have to organize ourselves by all means. Stand together, and we can manage that, and we are capable of doing that.
Well, that is an interesting thing again, and something came to my mind. You see, I think, let me take you back, this concept of indigenous people. Yes, we want to create a common voice among the indigenous people, the Benishangul, Gumuz, Gambela, Lower Omo, and so forth. I see some challenges, particularly when it comes within. Even now, as we speak, there is a serious division, or there is a serious misunderstanding or misreading from between two ethnic groups in Gambela, the Anywa and the Nuer. I do believe that it is also similar in some part of the Ethiopian peripheries. How do we minimize such kind of differences to ensure that we can speak one voice to challenge the system that is not really taking us as serious as they think?
Well, I believe, whatever division is there in all these areas, it's not the division that comes from the people themselves. It is a division that is created and orchestrated by the Highlanders, and because they are infiltrating in our communities. And the only way that to do that is to sit together as as indigenous people and to talk to ourselves before we talk to others that we are targeted. And if we divide, if we still in divide, we will open a chance for others, or we will give a we are giving a chance for others to come and to destroy us and to exterminate us. The only way that we can protect ourselves is to stand together and forget our differences because of grazing, or because of land, or because of agricultural issues or something like that. We don't have that much differences as indigenous people between among ourselves. The only problem that comes in when the Highlanders find a chance to penetrate among us. That's why we need to sit together, as I said, and talk to ourselves and agree that, you know, not being one is going to give opportunity for those Highlanders who are waiting and waiting for any opportunity to wipe us out. And I think it is very easy. It is not that hard to overcome that challenge. I think we can do it, and we are capable of doing it also. There's no any problem doing it. We are people, we are indigenous, which means we have history, which means we have culture, we have many things that can, guide us to solve that kind of problem or challenge.
Okay, let me take you back to what is happening in Benishangul. You said that the government is silent, which I agree. The media also is not part and parcel of this reporting. The human rights organizations are not seen to really issue are not seen to issue statements on these particular problems in Benishangul Gumuz. There is an outburst of anger from indigenous peoples all over the world on social media, some going to the extent of calling the Ethiopian government a discriminatory regime, or discriminate just based on a discrimination, to the extent of even going that is a racist regime. Do you think there is something or there is a truth in that?
Abyssinians always, there is one thing which is very, the other thing that the Africans are very surprised of my brother Africans. Ethiopians, they never considered themselves Africans. And they think that they came from Asia, and so they are not Africans. They don't believe in Africans. When you see Ethiopian, when they go to America, they consider themselves African because they are considered African by those people. So, but when you are in Ethiopia, they don't consider themselves Africans. And because that any black man is just African, but if you are, but themselves are not African. And that's the reality. And that's the first point that people should know, that Ethiopians are racist. And Ethiopian, you go to Ethiopia. I have heard the Obang once speaking when I went to meet him in 2016, I think, in America. How he went after the atrocity that was taken place in Gambela. He came and he was looking for a house. He couldn't find, I think, a house to rent. Even the woman didn't give him the house because she doesn't consider him a black man in Addis Ababa, which means, all Ethiopians are racist, and there's no way that Ethiopian can deny that they're racist, and that's why they don't accept others, They don't accept someone from Benishangul, and they don't, and you can notice that from what they comments that wrote and what they said, that we have to take over Matakal and we have to take all Benishangul. We have to control now. It is the time now to control Benishangul because they can't govern themselves, and they say all these things, and when they say they are shinkelas, and the barriers and all these things. And but one thing that I'm very surprised of is if they come to us also, for example, historically, even our kings used to be the way that they are wearing their clothes and the way they used to go to meet Menelik. They were cleaner and nicer and better than even the Menelik himself and Haile Selassie. And I think there are many photos that can show that how dirty they were and all these things. And they come today and they say they are discriminating against others. And discrimination is blood. And unfortunately, it doesn't matter how you look or how you dress to them to please them. It's still as long as you are black, they are against you. And I think that's why you see the government today. Look at the government level. They formed the government. Abiy Ahmed came to and he formed the government. Have you seen anyone as the minister from Gambia or from Benishangul? No, and you can't see them. Or from Omo or from you can't see them. And this is a very discriminatory government as well, because they don't even want us to be seen, as black people in Ethiopia. And that's what the game, that's the kind of the game they play. And if you have resources, the most resourceful areas where you find a lot of resources are in Benishangul, Gambela, and southern nations and all these things. They come and they take the resources, but they don't want you as people. They don't want you there. They don't want you there, and so that's why. And we have to make alliance, and we have to affiliate with other international organizations, and we have to communicate with all these organizations and use our power to convince all these people to stand for the right of our indigenous people in Ethiopia. Otherwise, the discriminatory policy, which is adopted by the Abyssinians for so long time, is going to wipe us from the earth. And also, we need to have a very strong campaign inside Africa. We have to communicate to our brothers in Africa to reveal the policy of Abyssinians in that land, because Abyssinians, they know how to lie. They know how to deceive others. And because it is in their blood, how to deceive and to lie. We try to show as if they are standing for the African rights, but they are not. Because if you go back to the history of the scramble for Africa, when the Western came to invade Africa, Ethiopia was the only country from Africa who participated in Berlin Conference in 1884 to divide Africa among those countries. Africa, Ethiopia turned a blind eye from what is going on in Africa. They say to the Westerns, take whatever you can or colonize whatever you can and leave me take the rest. That's why we became part. That's how we became part of this savage and brutal people and barbaric.
Thank you, Khalid, for your insight. I think let's have one music and then we will come back again.
Okay.
Yeah. So. Let's see what we can play. Let's play the.
Is that possible to show some of the photos of the atrocities? Is that possible to show some of the photos also?
The photos, I think, I'm not organizing.
Okay. Next time.
شيل مرميرا الله بريد القولا مرميرا وكركدي شيل مرميرا وقبولا بتاثمي شورا قبولا بتاثمي أنا قذن شورا ضمي ثروتنا شانغذي قوهان من أدر أنا قذن شورا ضمي ثروتنا شانغذي قوهان من أدر
Let me see. I thought people are saying he's there.
He's there.
Yeah, he's there, yeah. Thank you, the audience, the guest speaker. Thank you, Khalid, for your insight. The audience, I think you have seen what my brother Khalid has clearly indicated from his knowledge of Ethiopia, what the Ethiopian system look like, and what we can do to ensure that the indigenous people from across the country can unite so that the right can be protected and the right can be respected. We are coming to almost to the end of our show. I don't think that there is any question for that matter, but if there, maybe we can look at what we can do. Maybe this is not going to be the end of our show, it's going to be the beginning, but maybe next time we can do it better. Khalid, thank you for coming. If there is anything that you would want to add, and particularly since we went in the air, what precisely, again, if any updates with regard to what is happening in the Benishangul could you please just, wrap it up so that we can close our show?
Okay, thank you. What I would like to say to fellow Abyssinians are as follows. You know, you have been deceiving others about unity for so long time, and that didn't work. And that's why TPLF came, and now Oromo are coming. And if you be having a country, it is not something that you enforce someone into. It is people have to have consensus whether to have that, to be part of that country or unity or not. And the unity, it is not based on your own term or on your own view. It is something that also you have to listen to others and agree on certain issues in order to keep that country together or unified. And if that doesn't respect its own people, or if the country doesn't respect my people and it doesn't acknowledge the existence of my people, let the unity go to the hell. And I think Ethiopia is going to disintegrate if there's no any strong steps taken in order to solve this problem. And I think the Prime Minister need to take, in regards to the atrocities that committed in Benishangul today, he needs to take all those people who are responsible of this genocide into the court. They need to be arrested. The Amara regional governor need to be arrested. The police commission of Amara region need to be arrested. The militia leader of Amara, the security officers of Amara region, all these people need to be arrested, including those who committed the atrocity in Benishangul. And if this thing didn't happen, this genocide is not going to pass just like that. Because, for example, we can see that in what happened in America. When America was hit, what Americans have done, they attacked all the world. And they said, whoever with us is with us. Whoever is not with us, he is against us. And today, we would like to tell Abyssinians that this genocide has happened. We didn't have any power to protect our people. But it is not going to happen in the coming future, because our people will be able to defend themselves. And these atrocities, the government has to do some serious steps in order to stop such crime and such atrocities from happening in other parts of Ethiopia. It happened before in Gambela, it happened to the southern nation, it happened in Omo, it happened in Benishangul, in Kamashi, it happened now, it happened in Beki, and I think the Benishangul people need now to stand up to protect their own themselves. And I say this to all indigenous people in Ethiopia. You need to come together. You need to stand together. You need to form alliance. You need to come over any differences that you have, little differences that you have, in order to protect yourself from these hyenas. You know, the hyenas are everywhere. They are sitting, whether you are in America, they are with you in America. Whether you are in England, they are with you in England. Whether you are in the bush, they are there with you. They are waiting for the opportunity to get rid of you. So that's my message for all indigenous people, to stand together and be together. And for the government, Abiy Ahmed, you have to be a leader to take responsibility of the atrocities. And for the medias, whether the government media or the opposition media, you failed to represent Ethiopia as it should be, you know, and you shouldn't say that you are talking about Ethiopia, because each of these medias are talking about their ethnic groups only. No one media is representing Ethiopia, because if you do, you could have been revealed this atrocity to the international communities. And thank you very much, Mr. Ochala, and it was very nice talking to you, and thank you for the audience, and we look forward to have more meetings and more debates, and including with those Abyssinians, if they can manage to come and confront us. We are able even to talk from the historical background, anything, at any time, at any moment, anywhere. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Khalid. That is a powerful message. Audience, thank you for your time. Thank you for listening. With this, we bring the discussion into conclusion. Then I will give you one last music, and then we will close the discussion. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, I'm done.
Yeah, you are done.
Okay, thank you. You can log me out from the.
Yeah, certainly I will.
Yellow check, mailman and body bangoket. Terroranga, so give no panic. Hune, ooh, Black Lion from Western Ethiopia, Gambella, Helebabo, yeah. Yellow check. Mailman and body bangoket for the go. Nudi poka tuna bagot. Nudi poka tuna bagot. Nudi poka tuna bagot. Nudi poka tuna bagot. Chimarie, 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 oh, Chimarie, Chimarie, oh, Nudi poka tuna bagot. Nudi poka tuna bagot. Nudi poka tuna bagot. Nudi poka tuna bagot. Chimarie, Chimarie, oh, Chimarie, 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 oh, Chimarie, Chimarie, Nudi poka tuna bagot. Nudi poka tuna bagot. Nudi poka tuna bagot. Nudi poka tuna bagot. Chimarie, Chimarie, oh, Chimarie, 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 oh, Chimarie, Chimarie, oh, Chok marachu bada bach, Tawe maletram chot. Chimarie, 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 Podago, Chimare na waraji do jiko. Mananga, Kongo maranywa, Nebede achange. Podago, Chimare na waraji do jiko. Mananga, Kongo maranywa, Nebede achange. Nudi poka tuna bagot. Nudi poka tuna bagot. Nudi poka tuna bagot. Nudi poka tuna bagot. Chimarie, Chimarie, oh, Chimarie, 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 oh, Chimarie, Chimarie, Nudi poka tuna bagot. Nudi poka tuna bagot. Nudi poka tuna bagot. Nudi poka tuna bagot. Chimarie, Chimarie, oh, Chimarie, 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 oh, Chimarie, Chimarie, Nudi poka tuna bagot. Nudi poka tuna bagot. Nudi poka tuna bagot. Nudi poka tuna bagot. Chimarie, Chimarie, oh, Chimarie, 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 oh, Chimarie, Chimarie, Wapebeto, winyu, oh, beto, winyu, Wapebeto, winyu, oh, beto, winyu, Chioda Kongo Machala Lamdoda, Kongo Mereo Tawita today, Chimarie, 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 Podago, Chimore, the Waraji Tongo, Mananga, Kongo Maranywa, Nebede Achanga, Podago, Chimore, the Waraji Tongo, Mananga, Kongo Maranywa, Nebede Achanga, Nudi, Poka tuna bagot. Nudi, Poka tuna bagot. Nudi, Poka tuna bagot. Nudi, Poka tuna bagot. Chimarie, Chimarie, oh, Chimarie, 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 oh, Chimarie, Chimarie, Nudi, Poka tuna bagot. Nudi, Poka tuna bagot. Nudi, Poka tuna bagot. Nudi, Poka tuna bagot. Chimarie, Chimarie, oh,
Carro, no cono. Ahora como voy a poner tagacuerno.
Chimarie, Chimarie,
This was
Nudi, Poka tuna bagot. Nudi, Poka tuna bagot. Nudi, Poka tuna bagot. Nudi, Poka tuna bagot.
Okay.
Yeah.
Kejira no kichana no ke per jami fire ke per fire wala ngoni new ta ta na ko ngi.
Ana mo stop para ocho adanya tomorrow.
Okay, well no agoya pan.
Okay.
The mapi wala pa JJ ta wono. Chana ka announcement ka no chana uji joke.
Yeah, jora.
Kejira agoya pan di turu no ko ara ono choromo.
Chimarie, 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 chimarie.
Thank you all for your time. So this is we are coming to an end. Thank you. Have a good day. Have a good evening. Have a good night. Thank you.